Welcome back. We have another matchup between two blue belts. I have not watched this one. I'm trying to do more of these, just white belts, blue belt tournaments. I just think it's really interesting to do breakdowns on these, kind of see what's being done right or maybe wrong, or things that can be fixed. So we'll get started here. If you haven't yet, click the link in the description where you get access to all the strength and conditioning programs for the sweet science of fighting underground. So we are going to get started here, and I don't think this match is very long. I think it's the video says a couple minutes, so we'll see here. All right, so and take a little shot there. A little bit of would like to see a little more of a setup. I mean, if you're going to do that, you just got to commit to it, all right? So these guys a little stiff, which is okay. It's normal. It's a tournament. Double under. So you got the inside position of this guy here in the black. End up getting double unders on the inside, and this is most likely going to end up in a takedown, especially at this level when you get to double unders. There are a lot of counters you can do here, obviously from whizzers or overhooks and things like this. But at a blue belt level, unless the guy has a history of skilled, like a wrestler, a blue belt that's a blue belt that's wrestled or done judo. If it's just someone that's just started really doing jiu-jitsu, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, they may have some stuff there, but for the most part, if you get inside position, it's going to be difficult in a tournament here, in a tournament setting. So one thing that I was going to mention too is, like, it really helps if you can try to loosen up a little bit. I know that's difficult, one, because it's a tournament, nerves are really hot. Your nerves are all over the place. But the more stiff your body is, the easier it is to move, right? So if you stiffen up, you lock your whole body together. Well, then if I pull your arm, I'll move your whole body. So if I push you, in your shoulder, or push on your head, your whole body's going to move. So sometimes being a little loose when you can be, not all the time, of course, but when you can be, this can kind of mitigate a little bit of that control or reaction that your opponent's trying to get. So just want to point that out, because at this level of white and blue belt, you still see a lot of stiffness, like just consistent and constant stiffness, right? So boom. So hit the ground. He's got full guard with an overhook, so this is good. We'll see what he tries to do. He's trying to shrimp his hips out there, which is a good idea. You want to usually try to pull out to the side here, get your hips out, try to create an angle. Guy's holding onto a body lock from the guard. He's obviously going to want to try to create some posture here, maybe step over the leg here. So you can see that his opponent's opened the guard here. It appears like he's trying to go into like a Williams guard type position, because he's threading his arm under his own leg there. You can't see what's going on the other side, but generally when you see this arm being threaded under the leg, this is typically a Williams guard position. Yeah, and it looks like he's trying to, you see his hands here, he's trying to gable grip. But that's not quite a gable grip. It looks like he's doing like a ball and chain grip. So not sure what he's trying to do here, but this appears to be like a Williams guard. But effectively now the guy has stepped over the leg. Williams guard is very difficult. Once the guy kills the leg, the bottom leg here, it's going to be very difficult to hold this position. Eventually the person will just put enough pressure in to where you have to let go of this grip here, and concede to a half guard. And hopefully by that time, you haven't stuck with the position too long. So he let go of it. He's going to a half guard now, so he's in a half guard. He's trying to shrimp out on his side. So the guy on top's trying to get control of that bottom arm. He's stepping on top of that arm, but that didn't. Okay, he's trying to maybe switch his hips to free his leg. Guy on top. Ooh, so it looks like he threaded, and the guy tried to bridge there, and he just stepped over to mount. Again, this is, if you look at the guys, let's look at the guy's arm there. You see this guy's like still kind of, the guy on bottom's like hugging the guy here, like trying to just hold him on down. This is something that is very common, especially with beginners, is that you'll see them kind of hug, if you're on bottom, like just grabbing the guy and holding them as tight as they can to them. Now, obviously, there's some things you can pull off, obviously, from bottom, like sweeps and things like that. You want connection and maybe even some submissions. But if you're just hugging the guy when they have you in side control or they're on mount, you're just like hugging them to hold them tight to you, this doesn't improve your position and actually makes it worse for you. So simply this guy stepped over. He went to go turk the leg, it looks like, and then he kind of just stepped over to mount because the guy wasn't really playing his knees retracted. His knees were not retracted at all. So he should have been trying to retract his knees to try to prevent that mount. Now you're looking at the lace. He's trying to lace that leg, drop that hip in. This is all good stuff. He's trying to bridge. The guy on bottom's trying to bridge up here. Guy on bottom needs to be trying to at least shift on his side. Maybe not so much bridge to try to knock him over, but maybe try to shrimp to kind of scoot on his side so they can trap this leg. But again, these guys are so stiff and locked together that you may see some rolling here or some. We'll see if this bridge works. Okay, see, so perfect example. That was an excellent bridge, by the way. He bridged and got to turtle. But because the guy on top, because they're so tight and they're stiff and locked together, rolling someone over like that can happen. And you know, maybe he's trying to trap the arm, trying to go over. Maybe the guy on bottom was trying to, you know, bait the bridge and trying to go into an arm. Looks like possibly an arm bar type submission here. But again, this goes into to another point, which is, you know, you should be trying to control the position. You know, especially at the beginner level, you tend to want to rush things, right? You tend to want to chase things. The second you start to chase things, you're kind of forgetting about control of the position to a certain degree. You're more worried about trying to get a submission or trying to improve your position when necessarily you don't. You see this all the time. Not just chasing a submission, but if I'm in side control and I really want to get to mount for some reason. You know, and why do you really want to get to mount? I mean, I'm assuming, you know, in tournament settings, you know, where there's point based, yes, of course, you want to get to mount to get points. But if you rush the position and the person knows you're trying to get to mount, then you could completely lose everything and the person gets their guard back. So sometimes it pays to be a little bit patient and not to be chasing things. But this tends to happen, especially with beginners. So this is some observation here. Okay, so he turned him over and now he's on top position. So he's looking to put the elbow there to pry the leg open. He steps over. So pretty much the same sequence the other guy just did to him. So we'll see if he can step over. The guy looks like he has a locked in half guard though. That's a bit of a difference here. He's kind of crossed his legs here to a basic half guard. Guy has on top, he has an inside position. This is good. Got chest to chest connection. Got the guy flat. But see how stiff these guys are together and how narrow. He's gonna get. He's possibly could get swept here, especially because the guy on bottom, he still has a wizard. He's blocking his arm. He's got his leg straight. This is actually pretty good. He's holding that leg straight. The guy on bottom is holding dear life to this leg. Looks like he's trying to possibly go into a lockdown, which may not be such a bad idea, just to get some push the guy back down towards his legs to get some of that disconnect. So maybe he can get some inside position. Okay, so now see the left arm. That was good. He got his left arm to go in front of the guy's face, trying to get back to the inside. You see he's got this arm around the hip here. This can be useful. I'd rather see this arm under the leg, right? Holding the hip, unless he's going to roll the guy to his right in some sort of way. But if you try, I'm sorry, to his right. But if he does that, the guy's left leg right here can post. We'll see. You never know what's going to happen with these kind of matches. Boom. So really interesting. So let's just take a look at that real quick. So the guy tries to step. The guy on top tries to do a back step to step over that leg. And the guy's leg just kind of follows him, and he bridges and gets to the top. And this is just, again, the reason why this guy on top should not have fallen completely to his side like this. The reason why that happened is because, again, stiff, looking to do a big movement, the guy's anticipating it, and you know your base is just a little off. He fell to his side, and you know he may have been trying to improve his position too quickly. You know, maybe he could have just hung out in half guard, and took his time trying to pass and really addressing the position and making sure you have good base. So a little more time taken to actually pass. So now we got on top. He's trying to shrimp to get to his full guard. They're going to reset the position. All right, so I'm going to start him at full guard. Good. So we'll start. All right, it's trying to do like a little hip bump maybe, but he's not, can't get up. This guy steps over his leg again. He kind of slides over, steps over his leg. Now he's kind of got, the guy on bottom kind of has a little bit of a half guard here, but that leg's still posting, trying to bridge. I'd really like to see this guy on bottom, you know, both guys on bottom, really try to dig to the inside position. You see how he's like holding his head here? Not at this level. I mean, I wouldn't say keep the, I would be telling this guy, hey, you need to get your arm inside in front of the guy's face, get it inside the armpit on the other side to really bridge so that this arm can be on the inside position, right? So, and same with this arm. This arm needs to be on the inside position. If you can get that left arm to the inside, you can effectively get on your side, on his right side here, and start to actually create an angle. So look at that bridge again. If he gets him over here, I'll be surprised. That's amazing. So again, this is really interesting. This is a good actually case study to show when you're so stiff how just a bridge can knock the person over, right? It's I keep saying this, but usually when you're looser and you're more malleable, it's like a wet blanket, right? Or like I always tell guys like a memory foam mattress versus the box spring. It's much easier to move the box spring. You just throw it. It's all locked together. Memory foam mattress, it's like it's hard to move. It's difficult. And so that when you're on top, you kind of want to play that kind of game to where it's like you're putting pressure in and you're pinpointing pressure in, but each part of your hips are loose. You know, your upper body's kind of loose, and it's just, you're able to shift your weight pretty easily. So when they try to move you, your whole body doesn't move. Just the part they're pushing on kind of moves. And again, there's times for you to stiff and make a move, right? And to take that movement. But a lot of times, it will serve you well in controlling a position to try to be as loose and heavy as you can be, right? Shifting your weight, right? But this is a consequence for both guys getting turned over. Now he got a sweep here, but he looks like he's got a hold of the neck to a Acai position. With white and blue belts, this typically always ends with the guy on bottom taking the person's back. And it's simply because the person on top doesn't really understand how to work a Acai position or a scarf hold position, arm in or arm out. It looks, he may have the head, I can't see, but looking at the angle that the guy has here, it's probably just the neck. And the reason why is because the person on top at this level doesn't understand he needs to control the bottom guy's arm. So in this particular case, this guy on bottom, his left arm, the guy on top should be pulling up on that arm, keeping that shoulder off the ground so that he can't keep scooting around. Because if that top leg gets that hook, which it looks like it's about to get a hook there, you're going to get your back taken, right? And you holding on to that headlock's not going to do you any good. And if you hold on to it for too long, it's going to cost you. So look, he does just have the neck here. But now you can see the guy's completely to the back and he has his hooks in. At this point, the guy should be letting go and trying to get his back to the mat and try to improve his position right there. As it matter, I was just about to say he's going to go belly down, but he should have, if he would have let go prior to that, he could have, went to get his back flat to the mat and try to, escape from the mount position, or, even from a guard, maybe able to get a guard. But since he's holding on to the head here, you can see that forces him to a belly down, which is the worst position in jiu-jitsu you can be in, is belly down flat with two hooks with your feet dangling up in the air here. It's a very, very terrible position. Even when his hand pops out here, he's not going to be able to push himself up without sacrificing his neck. So again, I think this is another issue here, is that he held on to the position too long. Almost all positions in jiu-jitsu have a point to doing them, right? And then they have a point to where they start to hurt you, to where you're, where they're actually working against you now. Guards have that. Submissions have that. They will eventually work against you. Like a Kimura. If you hold on Kimura too long and the person spins around you, he's going to Kimura you. If you stick to one guard and the guy does what he needs to do to pass that guard, and you just keep trying to do that guard, and you don't modify it and go into another guard to counter his pass, if you just stick with that guard, you're going to get passed. So this is one very good example of just holding on to the neck and just holding on too long for dear life, when you should have let that position go. especially as soon as the guy got the hook in, and maybe even a step before that, he probably should have let that go because the guy, he had full back exposure. So anyways, let's see here. Let's see if he can make it out. So the guy's head pops out. That's inevitable. So now we're belly down, and the guy has a short choke here, and you can see the guy's hands. This is not an effective way to stop that choke. So he has a short choke here, elbows going behind the back, got his hips in, guy's feet are off the ground. This should be over. Yeah, it's tap. Okay, so good match. Hey, you know what? That was a good match. It was a good job to both these guys. They have some skill, and we're all, at some point we all go through this stage. So it was a good match. Some good techniques, just some things to kind of look out for. This is why I like watching these matches, these blue belt matches, because you can learn a lot of stuff that can help you, not just watching, the highest level guys do things, that look cool. These that actually work too. But sometimes it's useful to look at these type of matches and see maybe things you shouldn't do, right? See where the mistakes were made. So anyways, good match, and we'll try to do more of these here. All right, thanks.